You like lists?
I've been known to enjoy a list or two, Tom.
This one was pretty good. Took me a little bit to throw together because I had a lot of things to choose from.
Yeah. So this is our favorite death scenes in film, books, comics, what have you.
Pop culture.
Pop culture death scenes. I have from the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the DC 12 issue series, the issue where the Flash dies and he dies fighting the Monitor, and it's one of the very few senseless deaths in comics. He's actually being heroic, and it's pretty cool. Rest in peace, Barry Allen. You clearly died here. You're never coming back. Then I have the shoe from Roger Rabbit. The Judge Doom, he takes that shoe and slowly dips it into some kind of fluid he has that kills Toons, because Judge Doom, he hates Toons.
The turpentine or whatever the
His
fuck.
painful and horrific death for this shoe. Then I have Sam Jackson in Deep Blue Sea. He makes a very inspirational speech. Then a shark jumps out and kills him real quick. And the first time I saw this, I got a good laugh out of it. Then I have Marvin from Pulp Fiction. It's a guy that Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta are taking to talk to the boss or something. And they're driving and he's accidentally shot his head off. And it's a pretty good little death scene because it was
For
unexpected.
absolutely nothing. You know who Marvin is?
Yes.
Could you name his name?
No, but he's in a
Phil
lot of
Lamar.
a lot of comedy shit, Mad TV, like all that stuff. He's all over the place.
A voice actor now. He was in Spectacular Spider-Man, but I forget who.
Joe Robinson.
Probably. You should look that up. Who did Phil Lamar play in Spectacular Phil Lamar played Joe Robinson. Joe Robbie Robertson.
And then my last honorable mention is Reggie from Phantasm 2, because it was a surprise to me because I thought he would for sure be in the next three movies, but he is obviously dead at the end of this, lying in the road, just fucking dead. Back from that. Sad day.
Those are your honorable mentions.
Indeed. Indeed.
Sorry, I'm just writing a note for myself. Joe, my honorable mentions are as follows. The many deaths of Kenny McCormick in South Park. It's classic. It was a tradition for a while. They at least have to make an honorable mention. And
Almost.
then almost, but it didn't. So spit on their shoes. And then I have Ed Harris's death in the movie Knight Riders, where he just says "fuck it" and gets run over by a semi truck.
I feel you, Harris. I feel you.
Excuse me. And then I have the Tim White lunchtime suicides from WWE. It was like this thing that WWE would put on their website. And every week, Tim White would fucking kill himself in a different fucking way. My favorite was when he ran into a giant fan and then the announcer got covered in a bucket of blood. I had a good laugh. Other suicide attempts included self-inflicted gunshot wound and drowning himself in a fish tank. And this was WWE official shit. Good stuff. Would recommend. And then I have Ted Denslow dying in basketball. He choked on a hot dog, Joe. I can't believe it. And finally, I have one that it almost made my fucking list, but it didn't. A lot of people talk about the fucking Jason sleeping bag kills. Well, fuck that. In the prophecy, a bear stuffed a little kid in a sleeping bag and threw it up against a tree, and that motherfucker exploded. If you want a sleeping bag kill, go see the prophecy. Would recommend.
Hell yeah.
And those are my honorable mentions.
At number 10, I have Edward Woodward in The Wicker Man. You know, all that shit through the movie, and they're finally like taking him captive and leading him up to that Wicker Man, and he sees it and he's, Lord Christ, no! And just starts praying, you know, the whole time. Like he's obviously like a Christian man throughout, but yeah, at the end, he's like, he knows he's dead. And he's just praying like a motherfucker. And sorry, buddy, these heathens are going to kill you. Your God can't help you.
And his head was covered in CGI spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10, I have from a movie we watched not too long ago, Feast, when the little monster fucks that lady in the mouth and then she shoots out all that milk and gets blown up. What a terrible way to go. But it cracks me up because I'm a piece of shit.
At number 9, I have Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. He goes up to the gangsta's house and tricks them so they can shoot him and kill him.
Mm.
But he
Fucking
did
pricks.
it as a way of self-sacrifice, you know,
To
to help.
save the neighborhood from
Yeah,
gentrification.
that's right.
But the exact opposite happened, so he died for nothing.
But that kid got that sweet car out of the deal.
Hell yeah. Number 9, I have Kevin's death from Sin City. Marv just chops him the fuck up. Stray wolves are fucking eating him. And he's just sitting there with that stupid fucking look on his face. And Joey gets his head cut off and he never screams. Can you believe it? And then to add insult to injury, his head's given to a priest. And he probably does stuff with because he's a priest and it's a young boy's head.
Yeah, old Marv was upset. He couldn't even get a scream out of him.
Fucking prick.
At number 8, I have Hodor from Game of Thrones. This poor retarded man died. And it was a sad, sad moment. And they flash back, or they go back in time, and you see the origin of Hodor and why he died and why he said that shit all the time. It's sad. It's sad.
Rest in empowerment, mindworm.
Yes.
Number 8, from Day of the Dead, I have the scene where Joe Pilato gets torn apart and he says, choke on him, and then comes in a zombie's eye.
But they don't. They just ate him. They didn't choke on him. So, joke's on you, Joe Pilato. Of the
Rest in
Pilato brothers.
empowerment. Palladio.
At number 7, I have Omar from The Wire, the badass of the show that got through and escaped so many attempts on his life, only to die in a convenience store, shot by like a 7 or 8-year-old kid while he's trying to buy some smokes or something.
Should have went through the drive-through.
Shoulda.
Number 7, I have the sphere kill from Phantasm 2 because I like the angles better, you see, Joe, and because it happened to a priest.
At number 6, I have Ben from Night of the Living Dead, the best in the trilogy.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, because this was shocking. You see, you didn't expect old Ben to get shot. just by.
And I didn't expect you to fucking stand up out of your seat and start clapping either, but you did, you fucking piece of shit.
I did. I did. It was a different time.
No, it was yesterday. It was fucked up. You and we were here and re-recorded a fucking commentary that we can't release now because the whole fucking last 3 minutes was like, yeah, he got what he deserved, and a whole bunch of beeps, and I was like,
Well, actually, Tom was like stuck under the couch, telling me that he dropped
oh
his.
no!
And if he didn't find it, he'd have to go buy some new cups, and his measurements would be thrown off. So,
And I kept throwing this wig at you. Calling me Mike. Michael. It's either Mike or Boy. Those
call
are the
me
only...
Mindworm.
Oh, shit. What are we on, Joe? Number 6,
Six.
and it's you, I think.
No, I just did 6.
Oh, all right. Well, my number 6 is that time Jack Frost raped that lady in the bathtub. You remember that one? He raped her to death.
I did.
Number 6. It's a Christmas classic.
She was stuck in the shower, you see.
Yep.
And he helped her out, all right.
He helped himself in, really.
At number 5, I have Maud. She killed herself in the movie Harold and Maude. Took a shitload of pills. She said, hey, I've lived enough. Life's been good. I'm done. Which is a good thing, after, if it's good, go out on a good note. Don't wait till it gets shitty again, because it will. It will. Sad moment, though, for Harold, because he finally found somebody he loved.
Number 5, I have Street Trash, where that hobo drank the Viper and then he shit himself out blue into that toilet. Spooktacular. You got to show that to children. As early as children can understand anything, show them that scene and then try and potty train them. Fucking ghoulies. Go and shit your fucking eyeballs out in a toilet and turn into fucking blue goo.
Well, that'll teach him to not be drinking, too.
Yeah, goddamn fucking drunks, or at least not be drinking liquor.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of not drinking, those sons of bitches aren't selling pseudo Sue at the store anymore. Even though I talked to the fucking guy 2 weeks ago, and he said, oh yeah, I'll make sure that we stock it at that location for you because you always buy it. And now I'm over here drinking water with the fucking shakes and shit.
Yeah, as you were walking out the door, he was just like, fuck you, buddy. Hey, scratch that pseudo Sue off the list. Fuck this guy.
Yep.
At number 4, I have Oi, the Billy Bumbler from the book series The Dark Tower by Stephen King. This is a great character because it's kind of like a dog, but it can talk a little bit. It can just kind of like say, like, it would say, He wouldn't say Tom. He would just say, The lovable character that meets his fate, and it was a sad moment in the book for me.
Did some guy hit him when him and his master were out walking?
He was protecting the quartet, yes, and
the cocklet,
and the guy he was protecting him from just kind of like hit him real hard, fucked up his back, and then threw him at a tree, and he was impaled on one of the limbs. So it was not good. Not good, Tom.
You know what I never see is those limbs of trees sticking out like that are sometimes used in horror movies to impale people on. Mm-hmm. Never see limbs growing like that, Joe.
But that doesn't happen in Texas movies because we don't have trees like that, Tom. That's more of a northern thing. It's more of an East Coast, northern East Coast thing.
Is it? Though it's a main tree?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see.
All the trees are like kind of like this little tree you got down here, these trees. So those are some impaling type trees there.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Lobster bark?
Yep.
I see. because they're claws, right?
Crab cake trees, they call them.
Ah, I see. Joe, number 4,
Yeah.
that fucking drug dealer got his head crushed in by the weights in the Toxic Avenger. That still holds up as being fucking awesome. Would recommend. Doing drugs, that is, not getting your fucking head crushed in.
Right. Having to look for another drug dealer, not so cool.
Fuck no.
Yeah. At number 3, I have Spock from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
The
Spock
Wrath
gives
of
his
who?
life to save the USS Enterprise, and it is a sad, touching moment for Star Trek fans everywhere. Rest in peace, Spock. He's never coming back because he was clearly dead at the end of that film, lying on the space street, you know.
Pulling a banister.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. My number 3 is that yuppie who got his fucking head sawn in half at Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That bridge is a lot bigger than you'd think it would be, Joe.
At
10
number
mile bridge, they call it.
10-step bridge. At number 2, I have Roy Batty from Blade Runner. And Roy Batty makes a speech at the end. It's his soliloquy, his death soliloquy. And I tried
A
to look
shark
those up
jumps out.
to see if we had any films that were like that. If somebody said something that was real meaningful while they were dying. Not a whole lot of movies like that. But this one, old Ray Batty, he's gone. He was a robot, though. A robot.
So did he really die or did he just break down?
He broke down.
You got the
But,
red ring of death.
but they're obviously never going to fix him, Tom. So he won't be in Blade Runner 2.
Joe, my number 2 is from the fucking hit motion picture Hatchet. And it's where old fucking Vanessa Crowley takes that fat lady's head and separates it like a goddamn Pez dispenser. That was cool as shit. I remember seeing that shit. What's his name? Fucking old Jimmy Green. He brought this clip to a convention, and we were sitting. Our tables were set up next to him, and he's just like, "Hey, you fat fuck, you like effects and shit? You gotta come see this clip from a movie I'm doing." So I was just like, "Oh shit, that is pretty fucking cool." And then I saw the movie and I was just like, oh, that was pretty cool, but that's the coolest thing in the movie. So maybe you should have left something to the imagination. But that's okay because that kill is fucking awesome, Joe.
Tom
Would
said at the
recommend.
end of that kill, he ran to the theater every time a Hatchet movie came out. That's no bullshit.
You're not wrong, Joe. You're not wrong. Well, you are wrong because I don't run. Because
That's
the
true.
socks would bust.
Right. You can only have so much compression.
That's right. And once that fucking leg fat starts to jiggle, it'll just start busting the seams, and then you'll have elastic pieces flying it, and the unvaccinated will be struck in the face with elastic shrapnel and the tears of a fat man who's about to lose his feet only because of his love for yogurt with 8 pounds of sugar in each cup.
It's even sadder than the tears of a clown.
Mm.
Tom, and it really gets to me. It's really an emotional death scene every time, and that is Charlotte from Charlotte's Web. Oh, Wilbur loses his best friend. Uh, his friend that saved him from going to the chopping block time and time again, but he just can't save her. When it's time to go, you gotta go. Sad shit, man. Sad shit.
Mm. Well, my number one involves a lady giving a gentle fellow what people in the 80s would refer to as a Hummer. However, she was not hummering this gentle fellow. This gentle fellow actually had a parasitic monster living on his body, and she was actually hummering this monster, and this monster ended up eating her brains from the inside of her head. And this is from the movie Brain Damage. Good stuff. Cracks me up, and I'm sure to get this fucking Elmer's head in her mouth, her jaw would have had to unhinge like some kind of fucking snake. But that's okay because the scene's silly enough for me to still giggle my balls off. So, Joe, those are our favorite death scenes in pop culture. I forgot what the fucking list was.